From its humble beginnings 25 years ago, salmon aquaculture has grown to become a significant economic contributor to many coastal BC communities. In this short history, it has become the province's largest agricultural export, contributing over $600 million annually to a provincial economy that has endured several recent downturns. Many communities on the BC coast, already reeling from the decline of the fishing, forestry, and other resource-based industries, have embraced salmon aquaculture as a sustainable and year-round contributor to their local economy. In addition, local people displaced from traditional resource occupations have often found it a good fit, as they already possess a wealth of skills needed in the salmon farming industry. Aquaculture creates full-time, year-round employment, generating over 1,700 direct jobs and an equivalent number of indirect jobs in communities up and down the BC coast. Direct employment opportunities in the aquaculture industry are widespread and quite varied. Many companies today have diversified in that not only do they grow salmon, but they are also involved in many other areas such as hatcheries, processing plants, fish transport, broodstock programs, and even feed manufacturing. Commonly referred to as vertical integration, this allows salmon aquaculture companies greater control over the quality of their product, as well as lower operating costs. It all starts with the eggs. Broodstock crews carefully select the parent fish of the next generation. These eggs and milt are carefully collected for fertilization and incubation at the freshwater hatchery. These eggs will hatch and grow to provide the smolts for the next year class at the sea sites. A typical hatchery will employ 6 to 10 people in this process and account for 10% of the jobs in the salmon farming industry. In addition to this, employment is also generated in the need for fish health and feed specialists to ensure optimum health of the hatchery fish. As the smolts become ready for life in the sea, they must be transported to the sea sites. Smolt transport is accomplished using a combination of truck, barge, and wellboat transport systems, and generally employs contractors or in-house crews to carry out the job. As the smolts begin the ocean residence phase of their life cycle, they are cared for by farm site technicians. The average sea site, depending on size, typically employs 4 to 6 full-time technicians involved in the day-to-day feeding, maintenance, and operation of the farm. During certain periods of the growing cycle, specialty teams or crews are also brought in to do a number of more specific or technically demanding tasks. Some of these tasks would include grading, vaccinations, diving, and underwater repair and net changes. Marine farms account for 60% of the direct jobs in salmon farming, and as with the hatcheries, employ industry veterinarians, fish health technicians, environmental managers, and feed specialists to ensure healthy fish are a priority. After 12 to 24 months in the sea, the salmon will have reached maturity, or a predetermined harvest weight. At this point, they are harvested and must be transported to a fish processing facility. Harvest fish are often transported live to the processing plants on specifically designed transport boats. Many of these boats are converted commercial fishing vessels designed to meet the needs of the aquaculture industry. Marine harvest transport, along with smolt transport, accounts for another 3% of the direct jobs in salmon farming. It is here at the processing plant that the salmon are readied for market. Depending on size and location, processing plants can provide up to 140 full-time jobs, 12 months of the year. A more recent trend towards the further processing of value-added products such as fillets, steaks, and portion servings has significantly increased employment opportunities at the plant and together account for more than 16% of the direct jobs in salmon farming. Because salmon production is year-round, each company's marketing staff are kept busy selling fish to various wholesale and retail markets throughout the U.S. and the Pacific Rim. Like any other industry, a significant number of administrative staff are needed to keep the wheels turning. A typical salmon farming company employs 10 to 40 staff in such positions as accounting, reception, accounts payable, human resources, and a variety of managerial positions in charge of operations, production, processing, feed, environment, and special projects, to name a few. These positions account for another 10% of the direct jobs in salmon farming. As mentioned previously, direct jobs in salmon farming are just the beginning. An additional 1,700 jobs are created in many diverse industries and businesses that supply and service the aquaculture industry.
Dago Welding and Marine right now relies quite heavily on the aquaculture industry, as that About 20% of our annual sales are a direct result in manufacturing and repair to the aquaculture industry, where our other company, Eaglecraft Leasing, relies on about 80% right now on leasing our vessels to the aquaculture industry. Also, there's a significant amount of work that goes into keeping these vessels running, into repair and repowering them. Currently, Daigle Welding employs 19 full-time people. I think there's been enough research and studies done to prove that it is a viable, safe industry, and that the potential of future jobs creation in this area is huge.
We may be as high as 20% of Boatland's business is aquaculture based over a 12-month period. And a real nice fringe benefit of the fish farms is that they run 12 months of the year. They'll buy a motor January 2nd if their motor goes January the 2nd. And that's a really nice, solid business to be involved with. And we're very pleased to be doing business with them. These are tough times locally. These companies pay their bills, and we hope to see them expand and to increase their businesses, and likewise I think our business will increase.
40+ employees, working in 12 lanes, producing 3.5 million plus in revenue a year. Aquaculture is the only bright spot in our economy. But most of the people I know are in this industry, and they're all working and creating a livelihood out of this industry. This is providing jobs for 30+ people now, and many of them were young and untrained in anything before we took them on. This industry is still new and fresh and offers a lot of promise for young people in BC, and it's nice to see jobs for kids around now.
Our business is directly related to the growth of aquaculture as it has in the last 15 years. So if, for example, if aquaculture increases production by 25%, then our business would increase by 25%, and thus we would be able to employ more people, and we employ 16 full-time people. That's 14 truck drivers and 2 office staff. We move approximately 45 semi-trailer loads of product per week, which in turn means our fuel bill is in excess of $500,000 a year. Our BC ferry bill is in excess of $1 million a year, and our payroll is well over $1 million a year. So as you can see, being a small company in the aquaculture business, it adds up. I think just generally having 16 families living in Cameron River, that our wages are created through this that would probably otherwise not be living in this community. Just the tax base, the grocery bills, the hardware store and other things, it goes a long way to help the community. And I think it's a real exciting industry, and it has a huge future, and I think everybody should get on board.
There are many other jobs and companies that rely on or benefit directly from the aquaculture industry. While most are quite apparent, some are not. To help make the aquaculture industry flow, there are numerous businesses that benefit from the needs of salmon aquaculture. While those immediately related to the industry look forward to a prosperous and sound future, the entire province, including smaller, more remote communities, can be optimistic as well, for the ripple effect is unmistakable. Worldwide demand for quality seafood is growing as people become more health conscious and food processing and transportation become more efficient. Salmon farming is well positioned to augment wild harvests and meeting the market's requirements for quality seafood. Clearly, salmon aquaculture is a viable, sustainable industry that has enormous, far-reaching employment potential. Salmon aquaculture promises to be a leading force in the economic and social future of BC coastal communities.